Hello everyone and welcome to this week's episode of Matthew Ranney Presents, and this week we are continuing with the Regeneration reviewing series. Not that long to go now guys, as I am stepping into New Who for the first time. I'm going to be reviewing the first ever Regeneration story in the modern series, which is from 2005 Series 1, Bad Wolf and Parting of the Ways. Sit back and enjoy. So then, we are finally into the modern series and into the modern regenerations after covering all the classic ones. Not long left to go now. 2 more regeneration reviews, which will be Stolen Earth and Journey's End next week. And then the End of Time. I'm not re-reviewing the Time of the Doctor because we did that a couple of months ago. I'd be pretty much repeating myself about the 11th Doctor, Tasha Lem, pretty much a lot what we've covered recently. So yeah, 2 weeks left of reviews and then a countdown to cap it off. It's been amazing. And stepping into the modern series of regenerations kind of brings back a huge feeling of deja vu. Like this, I mean, it makes me feel so goddamn old that these 2 episodes were 9 years ago nearly. It blows my mind to think of that, and I cannot even begin to recall where I was, probably just at home, or what I thought about this. I probably thought, what the hell is going on, because I had no idea what regeneration was. But even though I cannot remember what I felt and how I felt, I still get a strange sense of deja vu, which is really weird while watching this. But of course, it is the regeneration story of the 9th Doctor, and the fact that we have just seen the regeneration of the 11th makes me feel so goddamn old. But let's get a few facts out of the way about the Series 1 finale. I mean, I could have just reviewed Parting of the Ways, but I felt as if I had to review them both. They were both written by, of course, Russell T Davies, and were directed by a guy called Joe Ahern. And I've got the synopsis from the Parting of the Ways here, not the Bad Wolf. I thought like Parting of the Ways had much more of an impact. That was most of the story anyway. The synopsis is, as the Daleks attack the game station led by the Emperor, the 9th Doctor finds himself helpless. He knows he must take big sacrifices if he is going to survive, but does this mean losing his beloved Rose Tyler forever? With Jack Harkness assembling an army together and the Doctor powerless against the Dalek Emperor, a deadly net closes around the whole universe. One thing is for certain, not everyone will make it out of this deadly battle alive. But who or what is Bad Wolf? It's time for the Doctor and Rose to find out. Even though I've just watched it, that synopsis makes me want to watch it again. So, the first thing that I want to talk about is the fact that this episode begins with pretty much a previously with the long game. And see, the thing with the long game is it kind of gets overshadowed because, let's be honest, before the long game, it was Dalek. After the long game, it was Father's Day. Probably the 2 greatest episodes in Series 1. So I can understand how the long game kind of got forgotten about and kicked under the rug. But I thought this finale really gave the long game importance. I thought that it kind of made it like a sequel. You could argue that with the End of the World, it could have been a trilogy, I guess, but I'd call it more of a sequel. But yeah, one thing that this definitely did well is it showed the consequences of what happened in the long game 100 years later on Satellite 5, and it was very clever how Russell put that together, and it showed that it was actually the 9th Doctor's doing as well. And obviously the first thing we were introduced to, and which at first I probably thought was a bit strange and random, is that all the 3 protagonists were basically thrown into game shows. The Doctor was shoved into Big Brother, which is an absolute pile of crap. I don't like it at all. My girlfriend will probably kill me for that. So yeah, he was shoved into that. The Captain Jack was shoved into some kind of a fashion show or something. I don't even know what that was. And Rose was shoved into The Weakest Link. And all of these, obviously, this was a pretty sick game station because every single game led to people dying. And the first thing I thought about while watching this was Vengeance on Varos. Don't know why. This had a lot of classic essence to it. Like, I'll get to Parting in the Ways and another classic feel that had, another classic essence. But definitely this had a feel of Varos as well, which I liked. And a lot, I could say that Bad Wolf was pretty uneventful, but it introduced the character of Linda. And I really liked Linda, honestly. When she asked the Doctor if she could go with him, I wanted him to say yes, and I wanted her to become a part-time companion. She's one of them characters who you kind of get instantly attached to, and I don't know what it was with her character. I don't know if it's because, well, Linda with a Y, she was sweet. I don't know, but I did grow pretty close to that character pretty quickly, and I think it was clever of Russell to kill her off in the end as well. I thought that had a pretty empathetic reaction towards me. But like I said, Bad Wolf was pretty slow. I mean, all I can really say about Bad Wolf is the cliffhanger at the end. I mean, everything else, you know, there's Rose getting killed, and then, well, we think she's getting killed, and there's the revelation that she survived. Bad Wolf's basically them escaping from the games, pretty much. And as much as it's a great episode, and I thought it was a good premise, it was a bit uneventful, and I think it didn't really get started properly until the end. And the end was absolutely thrilling. The end, just when it was the revelation that it was the Daleks that were behind it all, and the Doctor looks and he says, Rose Tyler, I'm coming to get you, it left me gagging for more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give Bad Wolf a separate rating, The Parting of the Ways a separate rating, and then I'm going to kind of give an overall rating. So there's not that much to talk about with Bad Wolf, other than it was, as an episode, it was enjoyable, and it led very well into The Parting of the Ways. I did enjoy it, so I wouldn't say it was a bad episode at all. So I'd give Bad Wolf a 6 out of 10. Now moving on to where the story really got started in The Parting of the Ways, and it began with the Doctor confronting the Emperor and his legion of Daleks. And one scene that sticks out at the very start of this is, yeah, all you guys watching The Day of the Doctor, the bit of footage, bit of archived footage that was used for the Ninth Doctor was him saying, and for my next trick, a few people might be wondering where that's from. That is from The Parting of the Ways, and me and James posted a reaction vid to that quickly on the Facebook page, so go and check that out if you haven't. But it makes perfect sense. Literally, the Daleks' rockets hit the TARDIS as they have a force field, and they both disintegrate into dust, and the TARDIS disappears. And then after it disappears, you see Jack, and then the Doctor saying, and for my next trick. So did Moffat deliberately pick that bit of footage out because it's not explained where the Doctor went? I mean, yeah, the force field could have made him invisible, but he wasn't invisible when he landed on the Emperor's ship, was he? So that was pretty clever when you think about it. That can actually work, meaning that Captain Jack was with the Ninth Doctor when he went to Gallifrey to stop the Time War from happening to help all the other Doctors. Jack was there, which, as someone pointed out on the Facebook page, actually kind of makes the Face of Bo, You Are Not Alone thing not just relevant to the Master, but to the Time Lords as well. That has blew my mind. But anyway, enough of that. I just thought that was a really mind-boggling Doctor Who crazy theory right there. But yes, the confrontation with the Emperor I thought was not just intense but humorous. I thought the Ninth Doctor was very good. I mean, obviously nothing can beat his confrontation in Dalek itself, but I thought the way that he was kind of shouting at them and he was confronting them saying, you know, doesn't it just burn when you face me? It made you think, oh yeah, the Doctor, you know, he does not fear these Daleks, and yet he was being cocky around them as well. I love the way that he made the Daleks feel like a bit of crap on his shoe. It worked very well for him. The way that he could just like walk out and they try and exterminate him and he'd just be like, is that it? Nuisance. None. What? Brilliant. I thought the Ninth Doctor was fantastic in that scene. And then they went back to Satellite 5 to basically get their fight started. And the Doctor and Jack randomly kissed, and then Jack and Rose randomly kissed. I know Jack is a pansexual and will probably have sex with anything that has a pulse, probably even objects that probably don't have a pulse. But yeah, that kiss, I don't know why that was there. I mean, it was a good signal that Jack was scared that he might not see them both again, of course, but I just thought that the kiss was a bit pointless. And then even further, to show that they were in danger, the Doctor sent Rose home. And again, that was foreshadowing that they're not just in any normal scenario right here. The Doctor sending his companion home, that doesn't happen very often. Like in the time of the Doctor, he sent Clara home twice because they were in an extreme bit of danger. And I thought that really foreshadowed how dangerous the situation was. People thought wow, if the Doctor is sending his companion home, then things must be very, very dangerous. And I thought that was very good. Quite a dark moment for the Ninth Doctor as well, but, you know, it kind of made sense because he was doing what was best for his companion. And this is when Rose annoyed me. Now, for any Rose lovers, you're probably sighing with your hands in your head right now and just thinking, what the hell, here we go, another Rose rant. Now, I'll acknowledge that when she got sent back, she was eager to get back and help the Doctor. That's a true companion. You've got to admit, I mean, she could have stayed on Earth and thought, you know what, I give up, that's it, I'm done. She could have done that. And at one point she actually did, but Mickey kind of said, no, I'm not letting you give up. But she could have walked away and just thought, you know what, screw this, but she didn't. So I'll admit, Rose showed great determination, great character, great resilience to go back and help the Doctor. But she was just a moaning, whiny little bitch when she landed back on Earth. She was sat in a chip shop with her mother and Mickey, and she was basically saying, what do I do every day? I get up, eat chips and go to bed, is that it? And Mickey made a great point. He was like, that's what the rest of us do. You know, are you trying to say that you're any better than us? And Rose was like, I'm not. She knew that she was trying to, she felt as if she was better than the normal humans. And I just thought the way that she bitched and moaned about how boring her normal life was. That's just ungrateful. She should take advantage and not take her normal life for granted, because people would kill for a life that Rose had. Even before she met the Doctor, people would kill for a normal life. Some people would rather have a normal life. So the way that Rose was bitching and moaning and, you know, throwing a fit in a paddy, throwing her toys out of the pram, basically saying, it's not fair, kicking tables, kicking the TARDIS, saying, you know, it's not fair that the Doctor's left me, I'm better than this, I should be living a better life than everyone else. It was just very selfish and very whiny and very bitchy, and that's the side of Rose that I didn't like. Obviously, she showed great character and grit to get back on Satellite 5, but she was just a whiny little girl at that time, and that really freaking annoyed me. But when they got back on the ship, the fight started against the Daleks, and I freaking love the Daleks in this story. Let me just say, Series 1 is the best the Daleks were, and I don't think they'll get back to that again. Dalek is the best Dalek story in the modern series, but Bad Wolf and Parting of the Ways, they follow a very close second. The Daleks were ruthless. They were merciless. People always say that Robert Sheeman's the only man who can write properly for the Daleks. Obviously, in the modern series, there's Robert Sheeman, but in the classics, there was also Terry Nation, many great writers. But Russell written them very well in The Parting of the Ways. I thought that they were the Daleks. That was what the Daleks are. That's what they're supposed to be: ruthless, merciless. People thought that they underestimated the Daleks, and the Daleks don't get underestimated anymore. We know what to expect from them, so we're not exactly surprised. But when everyone thought that the Daleks were going to just fight their will, they didn't. They went down and they literally killed hundreds, if thousands of people in a split couple of seconds. And hearing them dying, just what a dark moment that was. And Linda's death, again, shows the Daleks rising up outside. You don't even hear them say exterminate. It's just that dark. You just see the lights go exterminate, and then they kill Linda. They don't just kill her, they suffocate her. They break the glass and they let her get sucked out into, well, nothing. Into space. That's a torturous death. The Daleks, I thought, they didn't show... I mean, sometimes in Modern Who, the Daleks will stop in front of a human and they'll take their time and they'll be like, you know what, instead, we'll take these humans hostage. Instead, we'll make a human Dalek. No, these Daleks just wanted to straight out kill, and that's what the Daleks are at their best. So I thought that they were fantastic in this story. And the ending, I thought, was thrilling, gripping, amazing. And this is what I was on about earlier on. If the start reminded me of Varos, the end reminded me of Genesis of the Daleks. When the Doctor, I love that line where it was like, die as a human or live as a Dalek. That ultimatum is just so good. It's so bloody brilliant. The way that the Doctor's got his hands on the button, and this reminded me of the moment in the Day of the Doctor. He's got his hands on the button, ready to destroy every single Dalek. Like in Genesis, he couldn't do it. Weirdly, in the Day of the Doctor, he was going to do it, and now, because Rose changed him, I guess, he couldn't do it. And I love that one. He was like, coward any day, even though his promise was never crude or cowardly. I just thought that the Parting of the Ways and Bad Wolf had a great link to the Day of the Doctor, even though technically the Day of the Doctor happened afterwards to us, but before. in the wibbly wobbly timeline. It made perfect sense, I thought, and I loved that moment where he was like coward any day, so intense, so suspensive when he was about to kill the Daleks and he couldn't. And then Rose appeared, and at times I thought that maybe Rose just appearing out of thin air was a bit of a cop out, but it was actually a very clever way to end. You know, Bad Wolf had been following them throughout series 1, and we find out who Bad Wolf is. And it made perfect sense. It wasn't a cop out. It wasn't an easy way out. You know, it wasn't a way that Moffat would take the way out. You know, like this bloody series 6 or something. It was nothing like that. It was a brilliant end to the series. It made perfect sense. And I thought Rose being the Bad Wolf not only was brilliant for that, but that story arc led pretty much all the way up to the Day of the Doctor. Bad Wolf, you always think of Rose, and she turned out to be the Bad Wolf and the Moment's Conscience in the Day of the Doctor. And it also led on to Captain Jack's storyline because she brought him back to life, made him immortal, which led to him getting sent back, making Torchwood, and the rest is history. So this was a revolutionary episode, I think, for the modern era, because it just started off so many new stories, and it sparked off into different branches, into different stories, which would ultimately kind of make Modern Who, I think. So this was a very revolutionary episode, I think, and a very revolutionary series finale to the modern series. And apart from Rose saving the entire world, why the hell did the Ninth Doctor... I mean, the Ninth Doctor saved her, and his cause of death was brilliant. It was very Doctor, if that makes sense. Him just... I mean, after all the Daleks and stuff, a bit like the 10th Doctor's, really, it just came down to him saving his companion, which was very good. But him kissing her, I thought that moment was just an excuse to shove a Doctor companion kiss in there. I thought Russell was very hard. I think he was very kinky throughout this episode. Russell. He didn't just have Jack kiss Rose. Jack also kissed the Doctor, and then the Doctor then went on to kiss Rose. I thought Russell was getting pretty excited during this episode. Nevertheless, I thought that the kiss was pretty pointless, but his cause of death was heroic. The actual definitive cause of death itself, apart from the kiss, was very heroic and very Doctor, and his regeneration was amazing. I thought it wasn't overdone. Like, I think with Doctors who've had a very long-lasting effect on the show, who've stamped their foot deeply into the Doctor Who mythology, they deserve a much bigger, extravagant, memorable regeneration. I know it might sound unfair, that every Doctor should have just as much of a memorable regeneration, but if you've had a much more longer tenure, then obviously your regeneration will mean more, I guess, and that's why the 10th Doctor's was very emotional, and the 11th was very emotional. So I thought in the 9th Doctor's regeneration wasn't overdone, and it wasn't underdone either. I thought for a Doctor that had kind of introduced us to Modern Who, and had introduced us into pretty much everything, he basically held our hand and introduced us to Doctor Who in the easiest way possible. I thought that the regeneration was perfect for him, in a way. I thought that his final lines were very like the 9th Doctor, was not a character. The way that he was just like, you were fantastic, and you know what? So was I. And he had that big grin, and it made you feel really happy, and then burst into regeneration, and the 10th Doctor was born. And of course, his first moments were amazing. From the second that we saw the 10th Doctor, we knew that this guy was going to be a burst of excitement, even though he then went on to fall asleep for the majority of his first episode. Yeah. But anyway, let's conclude the Series 1 finale. So, Bad Wolf Parting the Ways. Series 1 finale was a fantastic end to a brilliant series, a brilliant story arc, and a brilliant Doctor. The acting all round was brilliant, along with the direction and the beautiful soundtrack. The premise led perfectly from the long game, giving that episode actual importance. Although Bad Wolf was a bit slow, the cliffhanger was captivating, leaving me gasping for more. The Parting of the Ways was an action-packed, thrilling episode you couldn't take your eyes off, with the Daleks at their very best, showing no mercy, killing everything in sight, like the Daleks should. The ultimatum the Doctor was faced with was brilliant, showing hints of the decision that he had to make in the Day of the Doctor. The ending was well tied up by Russell, putting a perfect end to a brilliant series. The regeneration wasn't overdone or underdone, it was perfect for 9. Overall, this was a brilliant finale, bringing back great memories. I will rate Parting of the Ways a 9 out of 10, and I will rate the overall finale an 8 out of 10. So before I go, guys, I'm going to answer a couple of comments from last week's episode, which was my review of The Night of the Doctor.
My first comment from last week's video is from Tom Dix, who says, "Haha, I love how your Sonic video caused so much controversy. Let the controversy spread." Yeah, it was a very controversial video, and it's nearly hit 2,000 views. The hate I have got on that is just surreal. But yeah, I was in a pretty bad mood when I answered them comments last week. But yes, Tom, even though you're in Kenya doing something brilliant right now, you have gave me the infectious disease of being controversial. Damn you, Tom. The Four Time Lords asked, "Hey guys, just wondering if Chris did show, what do you think his first words would be?" That is hearkening to the fact that at the end of my Night of the Doctor review, I briefly spoke of John Hurt's regeneration. I don't know, because if Chris did appear, I've seen plenty of alternate regenerations of John Hurt's War Doctor where Chris did appear, and some YouTubers have done a better job with the special effects than the BBC did. Cheap bastards. But no, I do think if Chris was to have actually appeared at that time, which I really wish he had, but he didn't, because, you know, he's a prick. He'd have to say fantastic. That's a given. He has to say that. That was what he was kind of famous for back in 2005. So I think maybe he'd be like, whoa, okay, having a bit of a, you know. But the thing is, he wouldn't see himself, because from Rose, of course, we got to see the Ninth Doctor look in the mirror and go, "Ooh, look at the ears," showing that he'd not actually seen himself properly until well into the first episode, Rose. So I don't think he'd actually really notice any features, because he'd only just noticed the ears in Rose, and if he only just noticed the ears, he's not going to notice any other feature, because them ears, they're like Dumbo ears. So I think he'd probably just have a bit of a crazy, you know, as the Doctor does all the time after he regenerates, probably like, "Oh, I've got legs, kidneys, ears, teeth," whatever facial body part that he wants to have a blooming rant about. But I think definitely he'd have to say fantastic. The next comment is from Larry Lee Moniz, and Doctor Who Tube also replied to that. He said, "Fuck the haters, your review was awesome. Loved it when James popped in. I would never question your love for Doctor Who, buddy. I enjoyed both videos." And then Doctor Who Tube said, "I agree, I hate it when people think they know everything and question people's love for things. The review last week was great and I agreed with you." See, if you go back and look at the comments of my 12th Doctor Sonic vid, of course I was expecting hate. Of course I was expecting people to disagree with me. I like it when people disagree with me. But it's just when people comment just saying, "You're shit, you're a stupid person, you're an idiot." It's just like, well, if you're calling me an idiot and questioning my love for the show, then I might as well call you an idiot back. People who give me reasons to why, that's fine, because, of course, everyone has a different opinion. That's probably one of the good things about Doctor Who. Everyone has a different opinion on things. It's just when people, you know, think they can question your love for it just because you don't like something. I mean, what do they expect me to love everything about Doctor Who? If I loved everything about Doctor Who, we wouldn't have a YouTube channel. So I completely appreciate what you said, Larry, and same with you, Doctor Who Tube, and everyone else who commented, basically sticking up for me, really. I really do appreciate it. Thanks a lot, guys. Joe Swanson asked a very interesting question. He said, "You know what I've noticed? There was a huge backlash against Smith when he was cast as the Doctor, but Capaldi seems to have been better received. Why do you think this is? I personally think it's down to two things. Smith was an unknown quantity, whereas Capaldi is known to be a fantastic actor. Tennant was very beloved, and many thought that he was their first Doctor. He had fangirls/fanboys who didn't want to see him leave the role and were determined to hate whoever replaced him." You've answered your own question, Joe. That's exactly what I would have answered. The reason why Capaldi's been much better received, I definitely think it's because he's a much more established actor. He's been acting for decades now. He's won BAFTAs for writing, directing. So yeah, you could say he's much more beloved. He was revealed in a 12th Doctor Live Reaction BBC One live show, in which he gave a lovely speech. So I don't know if maybe the BBC kind of made it easier for Capaldi, considering he got his own live reveal when Matt just got a little interview on Doctor Who Confidential, I think. So I think Capaldi got it easy, but of course, Matt coming after David, you were obviously going to expect backlash, and I hate fangirls who stopped watching. That is what probably narks on me more than anything with the Doctor Who fandom, is when people stop watching because the actor changes. That's the whole point of the show, right? So if anyone stopped watching because Smith left and won't watch Capaldi, you're a fool. But yeah, if there was two reasons, you hit the nail on the head. One, Smith was unknown. 2, Capaldi's a much more established actor. 3, David was beloved by the entire nation. And let's be honest, Capaldi got an easier reveal. My final comment is from the Lightning Luke, who makes a very good point. He says, I agree about the War Doctor regeneration, but to be fair, if Christopher Eccleston would have returned, he would have been the Doctor who fought in Time War anyway, and we would have missed out on John Hurt's awesome War Doctor. But to be fair, he should have at least shown up for a regeneration scene. That's a very good point, actually. I've never thought of it like that. You know, I think with Christopher Eccleston, we'd have either had him for the full special, or we wouldn't have had him at all. Because Chris wouldn't have just turn up out of his busy schedule. He wouldn't just turn up for a 5-minute regeneration scene. He wouldn't think it'd be worth the time. So we'd either have Chris for the full thing, or no Chris at all. So I think we'd have never actually, no matter what the what ifs are, or could this have happened, or what if this had happened, no matter what any of them are, I don't think we'd have ever got the War Doctor turning into the actual Ninth Doctor, as in Christopher Eccleston, actor Ninth Doctor. Because, like he said, if we'd have had Christopher Eccleston in the special, there wouldn't have been a War Doctor anyway, but because there was a War Doctor, there wasn't a Christopher Eccleston, so we were in a position where we kind of had one or the other, so we'd have never actually got the full regeneration, if you think about it, because Chris is a prick. So, honestly, I'm pretty glad it turned out the way it did, and Chris not turning up for the 50th is a shame, because he didn't turn up for a regeneration, but I'd take the War Doctor anyway. So then guys, as always, thank you for watching this week's video. Don't forget to drop a like on this video, subscribe to our channel, and comment below your thoughts and opinions on the Series 1 finale, Bad Wolf and the Parting of the Ways. Tell me what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it. Give me your own little mini review and your rating out of 10 in the comment section below, and I will read them out at the end of next week's episode, which will be another review of a regeneration story, one that's not on the Regenerations box set, weirdly, but it's classed as a regeneration, and that's going to be something that I've been looking forward to reviewing ever since we started the channel. That is going to be the Series 4 finale, Stolen Earth and Journey's End. I cannot wait for that. If you want to stay updated on the channel, guys, just like our Facebook page. It's just Who Addicts Reviews. Perfect way for you guys to stay updated on the channel, because this weekend I think we're having a discussion live on Sunday night from 8 PM till 9 PM. I'm not 100% on that, so you guys have to like the Facebook page to stay updated on if there's going to be a discussion or not. But until then, guys, take care, have a good weekend, and I'll see you next time.